Hello YouTube, welcome to Bub's World. I'm your host Bub. You're watching Bub's Comics. What else have we got? This has been a long time coming. I haven't done a video like this in a while. I'm gonna start getting back into the swing of things, changing some few things up from the last videos, but hopefully if you've been a fan of the channel all around, you'll see things pop up that are familiar to most of you. And then, you know, maybe some new things thrown in here and there. So I went to the Collectors Summit 2025 over in Dallas, Texas. Actually, let me go get, yeah. Hey, all right. So right here, the Collectors Summit, I got the silver ticket, although next year I think I'm gonna get the gold ticket. So I knew that there was a VIP dinner, but I didn't really know that it was gonna be a nice dinner. I mean, I assumed it would be nice, but I didn't know how fancy the dinner was gonna be. So I didn't go, I didn't get the VIP ticket, but I think I'm gonna get one next year because for the price difference of the VIP ticket, I think it's worth the extra dinner and you get like a couple of extra goodies in your goodie bag. So all that kind of makes it worth it. So Collector Summit 2025, they hold it at Heritage Auctions each year. This is maybe the 4th or 5th year that they've had it. I've been once before in 2023 and had a great time. Intended to go last year, had some family stuff come up, we weren't able to go. So this year my wife went with me, she had a good time, everything is great. It's just the best con of the year. Now I know a lot of you say that Heroes Con is the best con of the year. And I would say that for you, you're probably right. But if you collect a lot of Golden Age stuff, maybe some of the high-end Silver Age stuff or harder to find silver, and then some high-grade bronze even. But if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into the harder to find things, this is a can't miss convention. And once again, I scored a book that I've literally never seen priced affordably, and I was able to bring it home. So without further ado, it's back like days of old. Let's make me small and get to the haul. Yo! Pretty smooth for not having done that in a while. And you'll see that there's a lot of these, I didn't have near as much up here before, but my pin addiction has kicked in full time. So we've got a lot more pins than we had before. And some whiskey over here and some, you know, a Donkey Kong carrying a barrel, probably a whiskey barrel. So yeah, so we got a lot of good stuff, some Dean Yeagle art over there. So all good stuff. I hope you're enjoying this little look-see, just like it used to be. So, all right, here's another up close of the art that was for this summit. This was actually part of a fan that they gave us, although we didn't need it. It was very comfortable in there and outside. It was beautiful weather in Dallas this past weekend, so good stuff. So here we have Collector Summit. It was November 8th, and they do original art for each year. So the con art, if you will, is new for each year. So this is the first time they've had this, and it's absolutely fantastic. Really digging that. You've got the kind of the chief there with the skull, heritage. It's always kind of Western themed, it seems, because it's Dallas, right? She's got the 6-shooter there. Actually, it might be a 9-shooter, looks like, if my math is fast enough. And just a good looking gal there. She's got a little bit of a Jonah Hex vibe going on. But not near as bad, but she does have that tough old bird scar there, so hope y'all enjoy that. And then if you notice the plaid, the art is done so well on her shirt. Notice the curvature of the plaid here is so precise. You'd almost think this was AI art, but it's not. It's actually done by that fella. I don't know if you can see that, but that fella down there. So great, it's got the little thing right there. So outstanding art. I really dig it. I'm glad that they did this again, and I'm sure that they'll do it each and every year. So loving that. Collector Summit Dallas. Let's get into the haul. First off, I picked up this book. Now this is one that I've been after for a while. It's Space Ace #5, circa 1952, I think. So there you go, Space Ace #5. You guys know I'm digging this Golden Age type stuff, and all this old books, and sci-fi especially is my wheelhouse. So although this doesn't have a pretty gal on the cover, it certainly kicks in the extra fun. Now this creature here reminds me a lot of the alien in Men in Black that comes out and they end up shooting it. It's like got snot and everything coming out of his mouth and it lunges forward. And that looks just like that to me. Of course, this would have predated that by several decades. But there's old Space Ace right there getting wrapped around by some, looks like a rattlesnake tentacle. I mean, that's crazy stuff going on here. And it's got eyes on the ends of its tentacles, I guess. And all the planets back there. Really cool stuff. Look at the segmented tongue. That is nasty. And then some nice little drool coming off there. I mean, such attention to detail to this creature, this space creature. Really, really cool. Well done. Digging it. I'm digging it all day long. So Space Ace. The big deal with this one, oh, it has a neat little date stamp up there too, so check that out. Big deal with this one, ME Enterprises, was I have never seen a well-presenting copy of this book. So I've seen lots of copies of this book. It's not a particularly rare book. However, the ones that I find affordable are always trashed. Like, I don't know what it is with this book, but they are always trashed, beat up around the edges, tanning, all kinds of stuff. And you all know I'm not knocking low-grade books. I love low-grade books. But this book in particular, as you'll see with a lot of books that I collect, it has art all around, is what I like to call it. So if you look all the way up here, you got this guy's arm and his hand and holding on to like a shield or the side of a spaceship. And then his boot and more tentacles come all the way down to here. You got the little planet at the bottom corner here. And then you have the trade dress running up the side edge all the way to the top. So there's really nowhere on this book you could hide like corner damage. Maybe down here, although that's probably a spot you rarely see damage. So maybe down here you could get away with like a little corner missing or something like that. But the rest of the book, if you're missing any of that, you're missing some pretty good art. And so, and any staining, there's so many little things going on here that you don't want that either. So for this book, I was looking for a solid mid to upper grade copy. I feel like this is it. I'm very happy with this book. I would say in a Golden Age realm, I'd give it a 4.5. So very pleased with this book. Exactly around the grade I was looking for. I'm not trying to break the bank for this book because, like we said earlier, it doesn't have a pretty lady on the cover. Other than that, we are digging it. All right, next up, I'm working on a run of Space Detective. And I got this awesome slabby. It's a 4.5 from 1952 Space Detective #3 with an Everett Raymond Kinsler cover. And of course, you know I'm digging this. So I'm working on this run. I only need one more issue of Space Detective. I believe it might be #4 or 5 to finish this run. And then I'm gonna do a CGC registry run, which this I think is my first slab copy in the run. So I'll be able to start it off with this already, which is awesome. A little bit of writing in the P, but we're not gonna, it's just a number. So I don't care about the stuff like that. And then you say, oh, Bub, that looks better than a 4.5. And it really, really does. I mean, it's an excellent, excellent copy of this book. I would say just by looking at it, it's closer to a 6. Also, the color on this, usually when you see this book, it's very orangey, but this has reds that just pop. The ketchup and mustard on this trade dress is just beautiful, and it really, really stands out. So I love it. Well, the reason it's a 4.5 and not higher is because this came out of a binder. So you see it's got a little hole punch there, a little hole punch there, and another one there. 3-ring binder. But it wasn't done with an actual hole punch, which is what you usually see are full on circles. Instead, this was like awed through with the actual rings of the binder. They just pushed it through each page. Brutal, brutal kids out there back in the 1950s, I reckon. But look at this beautiful woman here. She's all stretched out. You can even see a little of her shoes. You guys know I like that. So some rings around her ankles there. She is not bound up, but she is being held by the claw, by this like general looking, he looks like some sort of alien pointy-eared fanged general, and he's getting shot right between the eyes. Just by old Rod Hathaway is the name of the space detective. And she's, oh my, yeah, I'm sure she is. So very, very cool stuff. I'm really digging that. Needed this for my run. I'm only one away from completing that run, and I believe I'll be picking that book up soon. They actually had the additional book that I needed for the run to finish it, but that book comes up a lot, and it's harder. This is a hard book to find. That book isn't. And I also don't really care for the art on that one. The art on the book that I'm missing is not the best in the run. I just need it for the completionist in me. I need it, but I don't really need it. Like I'm not going to pull that book out and admire it all the time like I will this one. So it is what it is. So I didn't pick it up because whenever I'm at a convention, I don't pick up books that I know I can get elsewhere in different grades. I try to only pick up books that I feel like I can't get this anywhere else, or the deal is so good I can't pass it up. That's my usual con mentality. The next book I'm going to show is actually an upgrade book from a book that I already own, and it's the big book that I picked up from the convention. But it's not the biggest thing I picked up. We'll get to that in a minute. But I went to this booth that I historically have had a difficult time buying from. I bought a couple of times, but I never seem to get like as much as I want. Like I try to wheel and deal, but something about this booth, I haven't had a great job of getting lower prices. And so sometimes I walk away with nothing, sometimes just one book or a small book. This time they had this book, and it was about half the price as I'm used to seeing it for in this condition. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't leave it behind. I had a list of books that I brought with, I brought the list with me of books that I was very excited or hopeful to pick up. My wife helped me. She carried it around with her, and every time, I was like, I need this one, she'd call it out. She was looking, keeping an eye out, hunting with me. Really, really helpful. And this book was the only book on that list that had parentheses beside it that said upgrade, because I rarely pick up upgrade books. But this book I could not pass up. It's Punch Comics number 20. I've been after a good copy of this book for so long that I had already picked it up. And you'd say, well, Bub, that one looks better. This one is a repop cover. It's a reproduction cover. It's not an original cover. It is original interior, but it was coverless. So I gave up and I bought the book coverless because I wanted this so bad. But I would never slab a coverless book with a repop cover. I know some people do, but I would never do that. So I bought that book years ago, but I never took it off my list. And finally found this book. Now this was graded by CGC prior. I didn't crack it, somebody else cracked it, but it was a 2.5, number 20 from 1947. So Punch Comics has a bigger book in this run, and it is a Punch Comics number 12, I believe it is, and it's like a big skull cover, and it's super highly sought after in the old collecting community, far more so than this book. But for me, not being that much of a horror collector, I have a lot of horror, but it's kind of like incidental to sci-fi and classic movie monsters. I like those too. But this book is more of a sci-fi book to me because it has the Rocket Girl on the front, and this is a Rocket Man, Rocket Girl appearance. And the Rocket Girl has three jetpacks on her back. And no, she is not technically nude there, but she's wearing like a super skin and muscle tight flight suit. As you can see her feet, she has no boots. They're just like it's like a pajama set. So, and very nicely rounded dip thorns, looking good, dark hair, nothing not to like about that. And if you'll notice, this buzzard carrying off these ladies, and some of the ladies have had a wardrobe malfunction, and extra points down below if you want to leave a comment with how many points you find in this scene that our wardrobe malfunctioned. And it's a very, very rare thing to see this on a comic, even at, back in 47. Super rare to see that. So, and it hasn't been pressed. You can see it could use a nice press. I believe I could work on this book and get it about to a 3, maybe a 3.5. Back is also in good shape. And CGC even notates the oddity of the cover there, as you can read, bare-breasted woman cover. So very, very interesting stuff. You just don't see that very often. And I think it may be the first book, age-wise, that has ever achieved that notation on the cover. So very, very interesting stuff. And I just absolutely love it. I can't believe I own this book. And now I have 2 copies. I have a reader copy now, and now I have a slabbable copy. So this is definitely going off the next batch of CGC so that I can get it slabbed. I'm not going for a run on this book or anything like that. And I've even considered making this book a test book for, what's that one, PSA or whatever. So I'm thinking of, because it's red, and I thought maybe it'd look okay in the red slab, or I might send it off to CBCS. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't have to, I'm not going for a registry run on this book, so it doesn't have to be a CGC book, slab book, but I probably will put it anyway. So anyway, now another thing, I went to a friend's house, and he's a dealer at the convention, and I bought books from him many times. He used to live in Canada, lives down here now. And I went to his house, and well, I'll just tell you, Stray Flexen. And if you all know him, Yaniv, some of you in the community are familiar with him, I'm sure. So, and I went to his house, and me and him have been going back and forth on some original art that he had from one of my favorite all-time artists, Wally Wood. So I was at his house after the event, and he was like, I found it. Because he had misplaced it or couldn't find it in his collection. He was looking around for it. And he said, I came across it the other day. And we hadn't talked about this art in a couple months since the last time we talked about it. We talked about it a lot over the years. And he was like, I found it, and tell me what you think. So he came out, pulled up the art, showed it to me. I'm not done. I'll put it like that. I still want a more indicative Wally Wood piece. Right? This is Golden Age artist and beyond. And I really want a female drawn or an alien or something that I would recognize as Wally Wood. But in the meantime, this is gonna do me just fine, and I love looking at it. And these are doodles out of his sketchbook. So here we have the Wally Wood doodle collage. And it's just got a lot of like little neat, art stuff going on here. So clearly he was working on some sort of dungeon or medieval themed book or art. So you have a kind of like some medieval type doors and stuff. He's working on some textures here. He has like a grind, like a wheel and cog system. He has some like smelting going on there. Bow and arrow, a little character there, or a crossbow rather. And then this is the most complete section where it has like 2 characters talking in front of like a medieval style door, a little mouse and some spider webs and stuff. So that's pretty neat. And then here we have some like what I would call delusional art, which he was famous for. So kind of some trippy stuff. So something going on there. I can't really tell what it is. It looks like a boat crossing through ladders. I don't know. And then there's like a hot air balloon with cannons. So that's pretty cool. Maybe bombs or bags on the ends. And then who knows what that is. So there's another character with like a robotic arm. So that's pretty cool. A question mark on top of his head. So that's pretty neat. The sword scabbard and or hilt rather. I have no idea what that thing is. It looks like something with a control panel. So really interesting stuff, Maybe a submarine, a medieval submarine. So just a collage of doodles by the great Wally Wood. And I really can't be mad about it. Like, I like it. We made a deal for it, of course. I told him he could ship it to me, but he said the frame's not really worth shipping because it was just in like a regular frame. He had a ton of frames. I mean, obviously his house was beautiful and he had all kinds of things everywhere. Big art collector and original movie poster collector, and he had a lot of stuff, memorabilia, World War II stuff, so great stuff. And so he was like, the frame is not like a keeper frame. Do you want to just take the art? And I was like, no, I want to take the art. He's like, take the art. So basically, I took the art, and technically it's still being paid for. So we're working that out. But that's kind of how things go at Summit. In fact, last year I left with some debt too. Or the last time I went, I had, it's kind of like the reverse of layaway, because you get the item first and then you pay it off over time, which I actually enjoy much more. I don't know about the rest of you, but I like to get the stuff and then pay for it over time versus paying, and then finally getting it. So yeah, so it works out good for me. And a lot of people do that kind of trading around and stuff at this convention. So that's it. You've got Collector Summit 2025. Make a point, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like Golden Age especially, getting to be at Heritage Auctions, and they gave us a tour and saw lots of cool memorabilia, like, you know, Mickey Mantle jersey and Neil Armstrong's flight suit, and you know, first print of I, Robot by Asimov, and movie props like the Terminator hand and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, it's kind of fun for that alone. Also, open bar and hors d'oeuvres all served Saturday, and then free food and drink all day Sunday. So it's a pricey ticket, but it's worth it. And they only sell so many of these tickets. So I'm not telling you to go out there and this is a can't miss convention. But if you are into the things that I'm into and you enjoy this kind of stuff, and they even had some original art there, which they had not had in years past. So if you're into Golden Age, Silver Age, and high grade bronze, and you enjoy just the posh aspects of some of the part of the collecting, then I think you'd really enjoy this convention. And you know, it's the kind of thing people say, you know, these books are very expensive, and they are, but people talk about, you know, well, con prices. Everyone at this convention is an expert in the price of the book that they're looking to pick up. Like every book here, I know what every price for every grade, you know what I mean? Like in my mind, the ones that I care about, you know, 9.8 of a Punch 20, I don't know what that is, nor do I care, because I'm never going to own one, right? But the idea is you can't fool these people. They're not, nobody there is some sort of chump who doesn't know the price of the books he's holding. Everybody there knows the prices. So the dealers know fair price. We know the fair price. We know a good price when we see one. So it's a different feeling in the convention. So there's still bargaining and trading going on, but it's not the same kind of, there's no one in there getting screwed on a book. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows what these books are worth. If you're in the room and you paid the money to be at this convention, you know what you're doing. Like this is not a convention for a new collector. This is a convention for someone who's been at this for a long time, knows exactly what they want, and they're willing to travel to some place to see if it's there. And you know, and at this convention, your grails will be in multitudes. You know, you had never seen a Superman 1 in person? Come check it out. You know, Tech 27, never seen any, all the first appearances are there. Marvel, DC, Golden Age, Cap 1 was there. I mean, everything that you could ever imagine, all the Holy Grail books are in one room. So it's amazing just to do that. And I know a lot of people that went and didn't buy anything and just soaked it in, enjoyed it, and had good fellowship. So if that's what you're into, you know, you're welcome to do that too. So that's it. That's all I got for this one. So we'll make me big again. And just remember, as always, to read a comic and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.
Now subscribe, you egg-sucking pieces of gutter trash. Now.